Just imagine that you get trapped in an unknown room without food and water, and it seems almost impossible to get out of there. Something like this happens. In our story today, after drinking alcohol all night, when this man woke up, he started having a severe headache. He was scared to see on his side that a dead rat was lying right next to him. Soon he realized that he was trapped in a vault-like room, which had an iron door and a cupboard, and a lot of flies were buzzing around him. Some of them were busy filling their stomachs with the dead rat. After this, the man looked at the clock and saw that it was 9 o'clock in the morning. Then he tried a lot to open that iron door, but it was of no use. He started banging the door and shouting, but there was no response from outside. He had no idea when and how he came into this room. After a while, he started feeling like urinating, and now he had to go to the bathroom. But at first he felt that someone had played a joke on him. He felt that this was the work of a man named Max, who used to work with him. He started saying jokingly that outside as soon as he comes, he will fire him from the job. But after some time, he realized that there was no sign of anyone outside. Then he took out the phone from his pocket and called Max, but there was no signal there. It meant that his contact with the outside world was completely lost. That is why he tried to open the iron cupboard in the room, but it was also completely closed. He went inside the room and tried to find the hidden cameras, but there was nothing there. Now he was not able to understand anything, and slowly his irritation started turning into anger. He started shouting loudly at his staff. Then he took off his belt and started banging the door. After some time, he got tired and stopped because he had not eaten anything for a day. He shouted and said that if he was not taken out, he would hand over everyone to the police. But still there was no response from outside. A whole day had passed. Then he woke up from sleep and checked his phone, but the phone also broke by accidentally falling down, and there was neither food nor water there, so he had to do something to stay alive. That is why he took off his shoe, urinated in it, and drank it alone. He was going mad because of hunger. Suddenly he saw a key in the light above. He immediately broke the tube light and took out the key. With the help of that key, the iron cupboard opened inside, which he found 2 oxygen cans and some tools like chisel and hammer. With the help of that tool, he tried to break that iron door, but there was not even a scratch on the door. He started burning the door with the help of a welding machine, but he did not know how to use it. Seeing the fire in the welding machine, he got an idea. He planned to activate the fire alarm using the fire so that he could get some water, but unfortunately that alarm turned out to be fake. After that, he planned to break the lock of the door with a chisel and hammer, but that door was so strong that even Hulk could not break it. Troubled by hunger and thirst, he started going into depression. To vent out his anger, he started banging the cupboard loudly, but after some time he calmed down again and sat down. Then he saw a hole in the wall. He immediately started breaking it with the help of a hammer. He was preparing to make a tunnel there and get out. Gradually, the oxygen level in the room was decreasing, so he took oxygen from the oxygen tube. But then, due to the increase in the amount of oxygen in his body, he started feeling dizzy, so he closed the oxygen can, and his eyes fell on some insects on that dead rat, and to stay alive, he had to eat those insects too. Then he continued the work of making the tunnel. After a lot of hard work, he enlarged that hole, and he started seeing the iron rods present inside the wall with the help of a welding gun. He cut those rods and continued the work of breaking the wall. In a short time, light started coming from there, seeing which he started dancing with joy. Now the hole had become so big that he could get out from there, but as soon as he went across it, the ground slipped under his feet, because he was not in the outside world but in another room, because all his hard work was wasted. That's why he started banging the iron door like mad, and after a while he calmed down and looked here and there. Then a red-colored coffin was kept in a corner of the room. He carefully removed the lid of the coffin, and seeing a beautiful girl inside, his eyes widened, because she didn't look dead, so maybe she was sleeping deeply, and when the man woke her up, she got completely scared, and when he tried to talk to her, he found out that they did not understand each other's language. The girl got scared and hid in his old room. The man had no strength left to explain to her, so he decided to spend the night sleeping in the coffin itself. But in the middle of the night, that girl woke up the man. She signaled him to continue the tunnel work, but it was impossible for him to do anything because of hunger and thirst. After working for so many days, her hands were also injured, and she was in dire need of rest. So the girl herself picked up the tool and started digging the tunnel, but it was not that easy. After a while, she felt like urinating, and she started running towards the other room, but the man stopped her there and started making her understand something by gesturing. Actually, he had not drunk water for 3 days, and that girl's urine was very precious for him. Feeling a little shy, the girl obeyed him and urinated in his shoes. To save her life, he had to do this stupid thing. Although the girl did not understand his language, but after seeing the man, she understood what she would have to do to stay alive here. Then the man started teaching her to eat insects, but she clearly refused to eat insects. After this, the man started making a hole on the wall of that room, but even after taking a lot of time, he was able to make only a small hole. The girl got disappointed and started crying. Then the man calmed her down by singing a song. She also started singing with him. Then by mistake, the hammer hit the man's hand. The girl immediately removed her headcloth and applied it on his wound. Soon they became friends, and both started working together. Suddenly, the lock of the iron door started turning on its own. Both ran towards it, but the lock came back to its original position. After trying for a long time, they understood that the door will keep opening as long as they keep their backs to the door. Slowly, they turned their backs to the door. Finally, with this trick, the door opened, and both reached the third room. Unfortunately, this was also the same room where an empty grave was kept, and there was an iron door like the first one. The girl showed intelligence and quickly brought all the tools from the previous room. They tried to open this door as well like the first one, but whatever they did, the door remained closed. Now they had no other way except digging the grave and making a tunnel. There was no strength left in the man's body, and he fainted due to dizziness. The girl was still fine because she had not done that much work. Now the man's body started getting fever. Then he realized the real desire of the captor. The man thought that the captor wanted to see both of them killing each other, so to get out, one of them has to die. The grave kept in the room is their destination, and to end all the trouble, the man thought of killing the girl, but he could not do it, and now all his hope and desire to stay alive was over. So he laid himself down in the grave and started waiting for death. The girl tried to keep him awake by slapping him. However, there was no movement in the man. She took the man out of the grave and started making him sleep by laying him on the ground. Now she was also fed up with all this, so she went to the door and started shouting, but there was no sound from outside. Now she also could not see any way out. Finally, she quenched the thirst of the man with her tears because if he died, she would also not be able to survive for long. After some time, she started removing her clothes. Even in the unconscious state, she could understand the man. He wondered what she was doing. He also remained slightly awake by touching the girl, as if the girl had kept him awake the whole night. After some time, both of them got tired and slept on the floor. After some time, when the man opened his eyes, he saw that the girl was sleeping near him. He crawled to the other room and took out the cloth from the taboo and blew it up on the girl. After this, he fainted again due to weakness. Then he heard the sound of the lock turning. Both of them got up immediately, and like the last time, this time also, both of them started moving forward with their backs towards the door. Now the man had become so weak that he was not able to walk on his own. The girl somehow supported him and took him with her to the door. Suddenly this time the door opened, and a very beautiful sight came in front of their eyes. The world outside the iron door was no less than a heaven. Very beautiful waterfalls and flowers were spread all around, and they had not seen such a beautiful sight till date. Both of them looked at each other and started smiling happily. After facing so many difficulties, finally they got such a beautiful end.